Hello, Abnormal Family. I got your 8 o'clock drop. We're doing a 2 video drop today. And as always, I want to remind you, don't forget, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we're going to be boots on the ground at 8:45 p.m. with Sarah, and I believe Kaylee's going to be going. Should be a good night. And then Saturday night on our boots on the ground, guys, we're going to a pretty dangerous location. It's actually a place where one of us was actually injured, so we will be returning back there for the first time. I got a encounter that was sent in. It's out of Guymon, Oklahoma, and it is a pretty wild one. It's a different one. I've never had one like this. It's very unique, and I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. She says, I love living in Guymon, Oklahoma, surrounded by the beauty of the countryside. My farm is my pride and joy, and I feel so fortunate to be able to call it my home. Every morning I wake up to the sound of birds chirping and the sun rising over the fields. I spend my days tending to my crops and livestock, enjoying the fresh air and the sense of accomplishment that comes with hard work. It's a simple life, but it's one that brings me so much joy and fulfillment. I feel like I'm connected to the land, to the community, and to all the good people of the small town. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. I had went fishing the other day, and I done pretty well, if I may say so myself. I was putting the fish away that night to freeze, carefully wrapping each fillet in plastic wrap and placing them in the freezer bags, when there was a knock at the door. I was a bit surprised, as I hadn't expected any visitors, but I wiped my hands on a towel and made my way to the front door. When I opened it, I was happy to see that it was my neighbor, old Mr. Johnson. He's an ornery old man, but I love him to death. He was standing on the porch with a big smile on his face. He said, Hey there, neighbor. I heard you been fishing, and I was hoping you'd be willing to share some of your catch. I laughed and invited him in because I'm sure that he smelled it. When I catch fresh fish, I always can't help to fry a few pieces just to have a snack. Happy to share some of my fresh fish with someone who would appreciate it just as much as I do. We spent the next hour or so swapping stories, eating fish, drinking coffee, and enjoying each other's company. And it was a great reminder of the kind of community and the camaraderie that exists out here in the country life. He left, and then there was another knock. I thought he must have forgot something. When I got to the door to unlock it, my little rat terrier started having a fit. I opened the door expecting to see Sarah or maybe even the old man Johnson again, but to my surprise there was no one there. The porch was empty, and the only sound was the creaking of the old wooden boards in the wind. I looked around wondering if maybe someone had played a prank on me, but there was no one in sight. I shrugged and turned back to Max, who was still barking and whining and whirling around in circles as he was trying to tell me something. What you got so worked up about, little guy? I said to him. I asked him, but he just kept barking. I shook my head, closed the door, secured it and locked it, and went back inside, wondering if maybe I was just a little bit crazy from too much time in the sun. When I went to lay down, I took a few pieces of the fish that I had left over and placed them beside my bedroom window. I was going to snack on them while I read a book. I opened the window to feel the cool night air. As I settled in with my book and the fresh fish, I felt a sense of containment wash over me. The cool night air carried the sweet scent of the blooming flowers over the distant chirping of the crickets, creating a soothing melody that seemed to match the rhythm of my heart. I took a bite of the fish, savoring the flaky texture of the subtle flavor of the fresh water, and pretty proud of myself that I'd caught 'em. Just as I was getting lost in the pages of my book, I heard a faint scratching sound coming from outside the window. I looked up to see a pair of curious raccoons peering at me, their little paws grasping at the windowsill as they sniffed the fish. I couldn't help but laugh at the unexpected visitors, and I offered them a piece of fish, watching as they devoured it with greediness. Then it happened. Oh my God, did it happen. A long, hairy arm forced its way into the window. It grabbed a handful of my fish, spilling the dish, busting it on the ground, knocking the lamp off the nightstand, making a huge noise. My dog was barking, and the weird thing was, and this is the weird thing, Mike, on the arm, where the forearm is on the inside, there was a tattoo. I seen it plain as day as it was snatching the fish. It was a tattoo that was raised, so it may be the kind that they burn onto your skin. It was the Mason symbol, the symbol that they use for the Masons. My heart raced as I froze in shock, my mind struggling to process what I was seeing. The long hairy arm was unlike anything I'd ever seen before, and the Mason symbol tattoo seemed to just grab my attention. I felt uneased. I felt like, what is this? While it was taking the fish with it, Max was barking furiously as if trying to chase the creature away. I finally found my voice and called out, "Get the hell away from my house!" But the only response was the sound of rustling leaves and the snapping of twigs as the creature disappeared into the darkness. I was left sitting there wondering if I had just imagined the whole damn thing. But the stilled fish and the overturned dish were real, and so was the eerie feeling that lingered along with the creature was gone. I closed the windows and locked them. Now at night, my dog walks around sniffing and growling, and I'm really afraid. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid it's going to get me. I lay here at night listening to every creak in the house. I stay up all day and I stay up all night and mostly sleep all day. I'm exhausted both physically and mentally. The fear is consuming me, and I don't know how to shake it off. Every creak and groan of this old house sounds like the creature's hairy arm reaching out to grab me again. I've tried to convince myself that it was just the wind. Maybe a wild animal, but I know better. I've seen it. But the tattoo on its arm haunts me. I feel like I'm living in a horror movie, and I don't know how to escape. Max seems to sense my fear, and his constant growling and sniffing isn't helping. I've tried to calm him down, but he's on high alert, as if he's waiting for the creature to return, or maybe he even smells it. I'm trapped in this house, too afraid to sleep, too afraid to move, just lay here frozen with fear, waiting for the sun to rise to bring some sense of safety. But even the daylight doesn't wash away or chase away all the shadows. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm afraid. I know I need to do something, but what? I can't just sit here and wait for whatever that thing is to come back. I need to take control of the situation, but my mind is a blank. I've tried to research what I could have happen and what I could do, but everything I find seems to lead to more questions. I've considered reaching out to neighbors, but what if they think I'm crazy? I feel so alone in this. I just want to feel safe in my own home again. Maybe I'll start by trying to clean up the mess from the other night, try to regain some sense of normalcy, and then, I don't know, maybe look around to try to get some security lights and security cameras. A lot of people say those work. Do you guys have any suggestions for me? Thank you for listening, Mike. I think the lights and the cameras are a very good first step. Even if you talk to your neighbors, you don't have to tell them that you believe it's a creature or anything. Just tell them you're having a prowler. And tell them you think he's dangerous and he's really big. That way, they don't underestimate what you're telling them and they'll be prepared for it. Probably what brought it up there was putting the fish in front of the window. Probably the smell lingered out through there and it came up to grab an easy meal. Hopefully it doesn't think that this is going to happen routinely, which will bring it back. Hopefully it was just a one-time deal and it's moved on. It seems your dog might be smelling it, or he might just be maybe a little bit, afraid too because of what have happened at night. So hopefully this will all pass for you. But I would let your neighbors know that you're having prowler issues. Get their phone numbers so that you can call them, and maybe even have them, out in the country. You know how we are. We're always out and about sometimes at night checking our animals and stuff. Just ask them when they're doing that if they wouldn't mind driving by your house, maybe even just spotlighting your house, all around and stuff, just to have the light and to let it know that people are watching. I think that'll help you. Thank you for sharing your story, and again, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you Wednesday night at 8:45 Central Daylight Time. I can't wait, guys.